Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lenz and you're watching Get Germanized, Austrian German versus Germany German.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ah, ich weiß.
Get Germanized.
I've been asked to make this video for a long time, but I felt like, I'm not really that knowledgeable when it comes to this topic. But I guess that can be solved through research, and that's what I did. I'm going to include the sources in the video description, of course. But I'd say we'll get started with some Austrian German, which is not all slang, but to me, it seems like it is slang because I've never heard these words before. And in specific, something that seems to be most discussed on YouTube is how to order a coffee in Austria, because they have vastly different terms than we Germans do. And I have to look them up from a list here. I have written all of it down because, yeah, I never heard of that before. And just imagine I had gone there, not knowing what I know now, and tried to order coffee. I would have made an ass out of myself. Would have completely embarrassed myself. For example, a kleiner Brauner, so a little brown one, is a mocha with milk and cream, or cream actually, milk or cream, in a small bowl. It says, it doesn't even say cup. Really? Must be in a cup though, right? Okay, and then the coffee cream or coffee milk will be served in a different little can so that you can make your own little brown one. So it transforms from the kleiner Schwarze, which is just a little mocha, like a black mocha. It transforms into a kleiner Brauner, a little brown one, when you add milk to it or cream, and they just serve that separately so that you can make it how you like it, I suppose. Interesting. That is what we would call Milchkaffee, I guess. Like, I'm not a coffee expert, don't get me wrong, so I might get the terms wrong that we actually use. But Milchkaffee is milk with coffee with milk, or milk with coffee, depending on how you like to take your coffee with milk, or milk with coffee. Apparently, if you order mocha in Vienna, in Austria, then that means you just get a coffee without milk or sugar or cream, mostly made from an espresso machine. Next up, a großer Brauner, so a big brown one. That's basically just a double black coffee, so the double amount, with I also think double cream, also served again in a can, but a bigger one this time, so it's just a different size. I don't even know what we call this, just a big coffee, a großer Kaffee, I guess. Großer Kaffee mit Sahne. Next up is something I would have never guessed, an Einspänner. Einspänner. That's apparently a small mocha in a glass with a lot of whipped cream. Schlagsahne in German, whipped cream. But they call it Schlagobers. Schlagobers. Sorry, I don't want to offend any Austrians here. Like, I've never been to Austria. I have maybe talked to a handful of Austrians in my life, and I don't actually know your language that well. So this is very interesting to experience for me as well. And I hope it's for you too if you're from another country than Austria or Germany. So Einspänner, small mocha in a glass with lots of whipped cream, and then we got a fiaker. Fiaker? It's a big mocha in a glass with a lot of sugar, and a shot glass filled with slivovitz or rum. I don't know what slivovitz is actually, I've never heard that. And the Schnapsglas, the little shot glass, they call Stamperl. Stamperl. Never heard that before either. So a big mocha in a glass with a lot of sugar and booze. We would call it Kaffee mit Zucker und Schuss. Schuss, the shot, is, well, the shot in this case. Next up is a Hefel coffee, which is basically a coffee in a Hefel, which is like a bigger cup with a lot of milk, and it's filter coffee. So a Hefel coffee, interesting. Next up, der große Schwarze, the big black one, also called a großer Mocha, like a big mocha, is a double mocha served in a big, it says bowl here. I'm not sure if they really serve it in a bowl. That would be interesting. Maybe they mean a big cup here. I'm not an expert, like I said. My favorite one so far is the Verlängerter. It's like the extended one. It's a little black one that will be extended, so diluted, I guess, with the same amount of hot water. Internationally known as an Americano. Americano. We do have Americano in Germany as well. Yeah, Verlängerter. So basically just coffee with water diluted. I've never had that, to be honest. I can't imagine it tasting that great. But I like my coffee strong, so that's maybe my just personal preference. So now you're probably more or less able to order coffee in Austria. That's definitely different than here in Germany. But let's get on with the slang words. The greetings in Austria are very different. For example, they like to do this Bussi Bussi on the cheek. I don't even know how many times Bussi Bussi, right? These little kisses, like they also do in France, I suppose, and other countries. And in Germany, we just do whatever we feel is appropriate. We handshake when it's maybe someone we don't know that well yet, or a person that we should respect, like a boss, or just an elderly person or something like that, that is not very close to us. We hug if it's a friend. That's what I do mostly, actually. Some people would just say, hey, like that, and don't even touch if they don't like contact with other people. But yeah, Bussi Bussi is not something we do here, really. Next up, a slang term that completely confuses me. And I know many Germans will think the same way. Many Austrians will think, why? This is not confusing at all. It's so easy, so simple. But that's only because you grow up using it. And we didn't. And to us, it's super weird. To us Germans. Again, not trying to offend anyone, it's just weird. Das geht sich aus. Das geht sich aus. What does that actually mean, translated into English? Das geht sich aus. That goes itself out. Das geht sich aus. It goes itself out. Yeah, in German that would be das reicht. Es geht sich, oder das geht sich aus. For example, is that enough coffee? Oh, das geht sich aus. We would say das reicht. Danke. Next up, a Soda Zitron. Soda Zitron, most Germans wouldn't know what that is, I don't think. It's basically just water, often served in summer, water with lemon and lime slices in it. What we would say for that is basically just Wasser mit Zitronen- und Limettenscheiben. So if I look at it like that, I suppose Soda Zitron would make more sense because it's way shorter and way easier. But it's just something we don't really know here in Germany, unless I guess you're a barkeeper or something like that. Or you know Austrian people. Next up, Schnacken versus Schnackseln in Austria. Schnacken is like more or less Northern German slang for talking. Hast du schon mit Dieter geschnackt? Have you talked to Dieter yet? And then in Austrian German, Schnackseln sounds very similar, Schnacken and Schnackseln, but Schnackseln actually means to have intercourse. So be careful when you ask someone if they want to schnacken, Schnackseln, whatever, in Austria. Or the other way around, when an Austrian person really wants to Schnackseln here in Germany, then other people, other Germans might just think they want to have a nice conversation. And they might be disappointed then, or not. In Austria, you go to a Trafik when you want to buy cigars, cigarettes, and stuff like that. In Germany, that is a kiosk or a Lottoladen, I suppose. Both offer, well, lottery tickets in the Lottoladen and cigarettes, and the kiosk offers all different kinds of things like magazines as well. I mean the Lottoladen probably too. It's just different names. Sometimes I'm pretty sure you can buy lottery tickets in the kiosk as well. I don't see it that often, but I don't buy lottery tickets, so I wouldn't even know. But yeah, Trafik is basically just a little, very small shop where you can buy cigars and cigarettes. That leads me to my next word, chick. And chick means cigarette. Zigarette. It's a German word. Zigarette or Kippe. Kippe or Zigarette. Kippe is more slang and Zigarette is the normal term. And Chick is Austrian German slang for cigarette. Ich raste mich aus versus ich raste aus. Ich raste mich aus. In this case, in Austrian German, this is reflexive, so ich raste mich aus, and means I'm relaxing. And in German, ich raste aus means I'm going crazy, I'm going insane, I'm going like on a rampage. Ich raste aus, so the complete opposite, and that was so freaking funny to me. Ich raste mich aus. I gotta love languages. Austrian German has a lot of interesting and funny words for being drunk. I mean, we in Germany got that too. You could say voll, ich bin voll, or ich bin betrunken, which is a standard word for drunk, betrunken. Sternhagel voll is like a longer word for it, but kind of funny. Stern, star, Hagel is hail, and voll is full. Star hail full. I'm star hail full. Ich bin Sternhagel voll. So German does have different words for it as well. But to us Germans listening to Austrian German terms for it, it's just funny. Because sometimes they are very different and sometimes they're very similar. Or you can at least guess what it could mean. For example, zur. Betrunken is zur. So drunk. Zur. Ich bin zur. Ich bin zur. Or I guess a more extreme version of this would be Bumzur. Bumzur. Ich bin Bumzur. Do they really say ich bin? No, they don't. Ich bin. Ich bin. Ich bin. Bumzur. Bumzur. My personal favorites are though fett. Oh, ich bin so fett. So it doesn't mean I'm so fat. It means I am so drunk. Ich bin so fett. Another cute one I thought was rauschig. Rauschig means also drunk. Ich bin rauschig. Ich bin rauschig. Actually, I think that's what the Austrian people don't like about us Germans, that we think their language is cute. I understand this, and I'm sorry. To my ears, it does sound cute. We can't help it. It just sounds cute. Rauschig. It's just, oh, rauschig. It's just very cute. And the hangover you get after being drunk, in German we call this Kater, so the male cat. But in Austrian German you call this Restfetten. So the leftover being drunk, basically. So you're a little bit drunk still, because fett, as we remember, means drunk in Austrian German. And Restfetten is the leftover being drunk. I thought that was cute. I'm sorry, it's cute. And if you are in an alcohol-infused trance, basically like drinking like that, so binge drinking basically. In German we call this Koma saufen, so coma drinking, basically you drink until you fall into a coma. I mean, maybe that's too extreme, I'm not sure, but in Austrian German, this or a little bit more drinking, at least, is called fetzen. Los more fetzen gehen. I don't even know if that's more Bavarian German or Austrian German. Los more fetzen gehen. I think that's more Bavarian. Not sure though. Fetzen. In Austria, a Apfelsaft gespritzt is basically apple juice with soda water, and we would call that Apfelschorle in German. Apfelsaft gespritzt. If we translated that to German, that would mean like put pesticides on apple juice, because spritzen is usually used, often used in regards to putting pesticides on vegetables and stuff like that. And if something is gespritzt, that means there are pesticides on it. And so this Apfelsaft gespritzt sounds pretty lethal if you translate it into German, but in Austria it's completely fine. You can drink it, no problem. Maybe they're immune to pesticides, who knows. Similar to this is der weiße Spritzer, weißer Spritzer, in comparison to a Weinschorle. And that again is just wine with soda water. Weinschorle, and they call it weißer Spritzer in Austria. A Sackerl is a Tüte in German. It means like a little bag. If you need a Sackerl at the counter, at the register to put your shoppings into, then, well, in German, no one would understand what you mean. You would ask for a Tüte. Tüte is also slang for grass, for wheat, but for a joint, but more about that later. And later is right now, apparently, because it's next on the list. A joint in German is, well, either a joint or ein Dübel, or I think there's more terms than that. I just can't think of any right now. But in Austrian German, they say Oven. So it's similar to the oven. Oven. Ofen in German is, well, the oven. And I guess in Austrian German too. And it's more, it's not as suspicious if you talk about Oven. Because you could just be talking about ovens or not, like who knows. Next up is Uhr. So this is an intensifier word that they use a lot in Austria. We have something similar to this in Bavaria, I believe, or in Baden-Württemberg, where they say Fei. I'm not sure if it's the exact same thing. Or, I mean, they might even say this in Bavaria as well. Oh, das ist ja urkomisch. That is so funny. Ur, like you are, can be put in front of many adjectives, and that way it's intensified. Since this video is quite long already, I think we have to make 2 parts out of this. And so look forward to part 2, well, it's Teil 2. Very soon. I'm gonna film it right away and upload it hopefully very soon for you as well. If you enjoyed this video, if it was funny, helpful, whatever, leave a like. I'm a little bit sick at the moment, so my apologies if I seemed a bit off. That's why I try to film while being sick. That's probably not the smartest thing to do, but I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.